Finish. Finish on three. 1, 2, 3. Finish. Rhodes. Have some bass in your voice when you say stuff. I thought it was going to be something good, and it was that.
Ty led St. Andrews to an 8-1 record this past season. Now, besides coaching high school in Texas, Detmer also has been coaching in the quarterback elite. Dustin Smith is his partner in the QB elite. Thanks for coming in.
You bet.
Explain what the QB elite is and what his duties were.
About 6 years ago, Ty and I started this quarterback elite business primarily to work with young kids on teaching them the right way to play the position.
Yeah, so you guys have been doing that, and you've had some pretty top-notch quarterbacks come through that too, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of great local talent. But yeah, we've worked with a lot of great kids over the years, thousands of quarterbacks the last 6 years.
Okay, we saw a little glimpse of what Ty does as a high school coach, but now with the top-notch quarterbacks, you were right there with Ty for the last 6 years, so let everybody know what kind of a coach he is and how he can translate his great playing days and translate that into a young guy like Tanner Mangum.
One of the things I love the most about Ty, and we spent a lot of time looking at film, preparing for camps and different things, and he'd pop in NFL game film, and we'd look at it, talk about it, and he'd get with the kids. He'd have high school kids there watching, you know, an NFL game film, and he had a real unique ability to simplify things. These kids get so much thrown at them. These offenses are getting so complex. You see sidelines they're holding up all sorts of cards and numbers and colors, and Ty is very good at simplifying things. You make one read, and if it's not there, you go here. And when the kids have a clear mind when they go out there, he has a motto that he would always tell to our guys. It was one play and clear. You know, and play the next play. Play one play, clear your head, and play the next play.
Well, when you look at Tanner Mangum, sometimes he held the ball and then rolled mainly to his right, and then sometimes had some great outcomes, sometimes not so great. So from what you've seen in his coaching with the quarterback elite, how is he going to help Tanner, the timing, and to stay in the pocket and do that kind of stuff?
There's 3 things that we stressed to our kids that Ty will stress there. Decision-making, timing, and accuracy. Part of what happened with Tanner, to be honest, I think was part of the system. It was a one check. If the ball wasn't there, they would get out. I mean, it was kind of part of what I think they were asked to do. Ty will have him sit in there a little bit longer, get down to that second and third option. He'll use the running back a little bit more, and I know he's going to want to run the ball north and south, get back to some pound it football. But, you know, great story when we had Kurt Warner in town for our camp this summer. Real impressed. I watched Kurt Warner after he got done talking to the kids. Ty stood up, was doing some X's and O's on the board with the kids and showing some film. Kurt Warner stood up, excused himself out the side door, and came and re-entered in the back door, mixed in kind of in the back where no one could see him, and he had a notepad and a pen out, and he was taking notes. And I thought, here's a 2-time NFL MVP realizing that when Ty Detmer gets on the board and does X's and O's, you take notes.
So you were right there. I mean, the word for Ty is that he has an elite mind when it comes to reading defense. So you saw that firsthand on a day-to-day basis.
He'd see stuff. It was crazy, some of the things he'd see. I mean, he'd take a look at an offensive front, for example, and based on how certain gaps were being protected and where a linebacker was lined up, from there he could tell you what the coverage was before he even got to the safeties or the corners, because he would know that if this guy was lined up here, he wasn't going to be able to get to his assignment. Therefore, it must be a cover 3. You know, stuff that you wouldn't think of. And like I said, he has a really good way of explaining that to the kids. And that's something that Tanner, who I think is kind of he's a 25-year older version or younger version of Ty. In a way, there's some similarities. Maybe a little bit stronger arm. But mentally, if Ty can impose on Tanner some of the things that he gets just cerebrally, I think that you'll see Tanner make some big steps here in the next couple of years.
And knowing Ty over the last 25, 27 years, he's got this demeanor about him. He's very calm, but then when he needs to get excited, he'll come grab your face mask, and like Eric and Andy were saying, so how do you think that's going to translate by his, you know, oh shucks kind of demeanor?
He knows when to play that. I mean, Ty, to his core, is a very humble, genuine man. What you see of Ty, what people see, it's what you've met him before. It's how he is as a person. He's not a big timer. He treats everybody as a real important person in his life. And so because of that, it's a very infectious personality that he has. That's why I think the kids are going to gravitate to him, and the recruiting trail. these parents of these kids nowadays that are being recruited, I mean, the 18-year-old kid right now has a mom or dad who grew up in Ty's era.
Yeah.
You know, so they know who he is. When he walks into these living rooms and says, your son's going to come play for me, they're going to come.
It's going to be fun to see how he can translate what he knows, what he did as a player, that he did so well, to Tanner Mangum, and see how well Tanner receives that. Dustin Smith, quarterback elite, coach with Ty Detmer. Thanks for the insight. We'll see how it all plays out.
It's going to be fun.